season has been announced, and man oh man, are you in for a treat once Formula One starts in the upcoming season 2023, of course. That's because there's a lot more races, there's a lot of new venues, there's also retention of plenty of old venues, and basically the 2023 calendar, as I said, is going big because there's a record 24 races on the calendar. You heard that right, 24 races is what they're going to be targeting for next season. Don't forget that for 2022 itself, they had targeted 23 races, but due to the cancellation of the Russian Grand Prix, there were only going to be 22 held in this particular season. However, F1's plans of global expansion and of adding more new circuits has clearly worked out because, of course, as I said, 24 races in the 2023 season. But that's not the only major talking point that we have regarding this, of course, new schedule. So I thought I'd go through the schedule and, of course, let's go through the major talking points that we could have, or what was it that was interesting and stood out. So that's what we're going to go through now. And arguably the first thing which I pointed out, of course, record number of races. Now, generally speaking, the F1 calendar has been steadily growing for years on end because, of course, more and more countries have expressed interest in adding races to the calendar. But of course, there's only so many races that you can pack. That being said, the new owners, Liberty Media, are quite clearly intent on spreading F1 across the globe, making it even more global than it is. And in that regard, 24 races around the world really gives you a feeling of a true world championship. Now, of course, it's worth noting that old-time Formula One fans would remember a time when the world championship of Formula One consisted of 8 races in Europe and 1 in South America, which was generally Argentina. So obviously, F1 has come a long way since that time because now you have 24 races happening across multiple continents. But it's not just about that. This time's calendar sees a few interesting returns take place as well. Now, again, the Chinese Grand Prix you haven't seen since 2019, and I don't think I need to tell you why that's been the case. COVID-19 has wreaked havoc on the world, but the one country that was affected more than any was, of course, China, which is where the virus originated from. Now, obviously, due to the complications surrounding COVID-19 regulations, lockdown rules, quarantines, and everything else, there hasn't been a race held in China since 2019. That was the last time that a race took place there, and the F1 world was a very different place. In fact, you can even make an argument that the world was a very different place all the way back in 2019. But if you're a fan of the Chinese circuit, and believe you me when I say I enjoy it because, of course, of the way it's shaped, and of course it stands out a lot, like these particular things over the stands. It's a circuit that stands out a lot. It's a pretty interesting circuit, so I'm glad it's back on the calendar. Qatar also will be coming back to the calendar, although this isn't as much of a surprise because you remember that F1 had announced a deal with Qatar that would commence from 2023. The surprising part about that particular race is that it won't be taking place. There were talks that it will be taking place in a newly built circuit, purpose built for F1. That isn't quite happening because the race, at least for 2023, will be taking place on the Lusail International Circuit, which is the same circuit that held the Qatar Grand Prix in 2021, and it's the same circuit that has been used for MotoGP races in the country. So I personally, again, I liked that circuit. It was pretty interesting. The straights meant that there was plenty of overtaking opportunities, so I don't mind it being back in Lusail. But whether or not Lusail is going to be the long-term home of the Qatar Grand Prix, that's something we'll only see in due time. However, let's move on to the next talking point, and that is, of course, 3 races in America. Yes, you heard that right. Yep. Not 1, not 2, but 3 races will be taking place in the United States of America. And in many ways, it's a good thing for Formula One. America has been a market that they've been trying to and failing to crack for years on end. They had amassed some popularity, but that was severely damaged by the 2005 United States Grand Prix fiasco. If you don't know what that is, give it a Google. Long story short, tire problems meant that of the 20 cars, only 6 could start the race. Fans were not happy, and the popularity of the series took a dent. But in recent times, F1 has been growing in popularity when it comes to America. That is, of course, thanks in no small part to the Netflix series Drive to Survive. That's become immensely popular in the USA, and of course, that has meant to increased attendance and also more interest in expression of trying to get races. So you remember that you have the United States Grand Prix that takes place in Austin, Texas, in the Circuit of the Americas. because 2022 you saw the Miami Grand Prix take place on a purpose-built street circuit, and from 2023 you're going to have the Las Vegas Grand Prix take place on the Las Vegas Strip under lights. You heard that right. Not only are you going to be seeing a race in Las Vegas, it's going to be happening on the Las Vegas Strip, which means another street circuit, but this time in the night. So I personally am very excited for that one. But American growth is very, very important for Formula One, because again, they've established a foothold in Europe. Traditionally, the sport has its roots in Europe, but America is a key market, and the new owners, Liberty Media, who are of course America based, have done a pretty good job of popularizing the sport in America at this point. And what's more, there's still talk of more races in America being added, which would of course mean plenty of money rolling in for everyone involved. The other major talking point, of course, if you're someone who's fearing that, all of these new tracks are coming, what happens to the old ones? Well, worry not. 2023 has retained pretty much every one of the major traditional circuits that are already on the calendar, and this of course includes Belgium. Spa-Francorchamps, you remember, ahead of the 2022 Belgian Grand Prix, had announced an extension to its deal, but albeit only for a year, so they will be on the calendar in 2023. More importantly, the Monaco Grand Prix, which of course was out of contract after 2022, has announced a 3-year extension, which means that the race will be on the circuit for till 2025. Now, Monaco is one of those races which I don't think is best suited to this current generation of Formula One cars, because the cars are very wide, limited overtaking opportunities. But I do enjoy watching racing, or at least certain aspects of the race in Monaco, because again, traditional the setting is very, very unique. You'll have all the harbor sites and everything to see, plus you of course see plenty of people looking out of their houses, which is always spectacular. So I do agree that there are changes which probably could be made to Monaco, but I would like it to remain on the calendar. So I was very happy when I saw that it's going to be on the calendar, along with of course races like Belgium, Italy, UK, Hungary. All of the major, more traditional spots have gotten a place in the calendar, which is of course a good thing for Formula One as a whole. And last but not the least, and this is a somewhat small tweak, but for the last few years we've been used to having double or you've been having even triple headers for the last 2 years once F1's summer break in August comes to an end. Now, this last year and this year you had 3 races. You had triple header, 3 races, 3 weeks in Belgium, Netherlands, then Italy. 2023 onwards, that changes slightly. You remember that again, the last race of the season before the summer break in recent times has been Hungary, but next year that race is going to be in Belgium. So rather than have a triple header post the summer break, you're going to be having a double header of just Netherlands and Italy before they head off for the European leg, because of course you'd have Qatar added as an extra race in Asia next time around. So the European leg of the F1 the championship has been amended very slightly, which of course means that there's no triple header post the summer break, but with extra races I don't think fans are going to be complaining too much. The good news is circuits like Spa and Monaco will at least still be on the circuit. I was very worried about that, but again, seeing 24 races also very exciting, because well, who can say no to more racing, right? But that's my thoughts on this particular F1 calendar, and I'm sure we'll be seeing much more news breaking about it in the coming days. But what do you guys think? Are you happy with the calendar, or do you think that less is more? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course tap the bell icon so you know when it is we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. Then you can go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. And last but not least, don't forget to download the AajTak app. They recently completed a year, so show them some love and download the app from, of course, the Play Store or App Store, wherever it is you get your apps from. Thank you once again for joining us. As always, I've been Sharon Dias, and I hope to see you all through the day. But for now, goodbye.